Has Halloween been canceled? None of you're creative about it. Here to share how to have an extra safe holiday is Dr. Allison Eckard, Associate Professor at MUSC. And Doctor, if you've driven by Boone Hall, their Fright Nights and Pumpkin Patch, they're in full swing. But aside from that, come October 31st, do you think kids will be out there trick-or-treating?
The pandemic's been hard on all of us, and children are no exception. We've had to make a lot of changes this year, and I think children are often the ones who suffer the most, but they're resilient.
There are safe ways to do it, and there are other alternatives, and maybe you can talk a little bit about that, what some of the alternatives are.
Sure. So just like everything that we do for our kids, it's how we present things, and if we can make things fun. Usually for Halloween, it's just about the candy. So if you can make the candy still fun and do some alternative things to trick-or-treating, they will be no wiser and maybe in some respects even happier. You can do a virtual contest for your costume, or even just have a Halloween themed night in your house with cooking up some fun things and a spooky movie night. Easy ways to stay safe and still have loads of fun.
And I also like the idea of a scavenger hunt.
So the safest and easiest way is to do it within your family, but you could potentially do it within your neighborhood as long as everybody wore masks and stayed apart from one another. It just takes a little bit of creativity and some cooperation with your neighbors to make it a fun night.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, we did a story. So for our viewers, if they want to go to our YouTube channel, Fox 24 News Now, we did a story on Charleston Terrors. And this is a group that normally takes you on ghost tours throughout Charleston, but they have come up with a way that you can do it virtually. So, if you've checked the temperature of your friend, they want to come over, they want to watch this ghost tour on TV with you, that would be another good way to do it. But if trick-or-treating is an absolute must, what is the best way for the household giving away treats to do it safely and for the recipient?
Right. So the biggest thing is to be outdoors. We know that there is less of a risk of transmission outdoors, and to wear masks. I know that sometimes that may not go with the costume theme, but that layer of protection is really key.
And I like the idea you can distribute candy in individual bags. You can hand them out with tongs. You want to make sure that you wash your hands before you put the candy in the bowl, if that's the way you want to go. Don't let the kids grab it themselves, because you don't know if they've washed their hands and they could make somebody else sick down the road. But quick question for you before we end this. Is there a way to sanitize the candy before they come out of the wrapper once they come home?
But there is theoretically a risk of acquiring the virus just from touching a surface and then touching your face. But if you are going to eat that candy, it's best to try to wipe it down, or maybe even let it sit for a day or two before you eat it. For the little kids who really don't understand much about Halloween, I think a really smart tip is to have a couple pieces of candy that you bring from your own home hidden away in your jacket, and you can give those kids that candy while they're actually trick-or-treating. That would be
You're speaking to that kid who would have wanted the candy right away. Dr. Eckard, finally, real quick, flu shot reminder.
Please, this is, a really important thing every single year, but it's even more important this year because a lot of the symptoms overlap between flu and COVID. And so we really need to protect everybody as best as we can. So please get your flu shot.
Wonderful. Dr. Eckard, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Stay safe.